and welcome to Money Pile Monday, where I am going through my death pile and turning it into dollars by picking 20 items out of it and listing it, showing you what I am listing with the listing to keep myself accountable, because this is the only way I seem to be able to actually get my death pile down. And I'm actually going to start off by just showing you what I'm wearing now. This was actually in a recent Thriftmas video, but I stated that it needed some love. There were actually several dropped stitches here in the shoulder, actually in the back, which you can't really see now. I don't know why I'm trying to show you. The whole point of me mending it is that you can't tell it's mended. I use something called a knit picker. It's a little tiny sewing tool to pick up the dropped stitches, re-stitch them back in, and then secure the end back into the seam, because thankfully all of the dropped stitches were actually right here in the arm seam, so I just reattached them to the arm seam and it's like nothing happened. So I picked this up because I thought it was absolutely adorable. It's a vintage 90s Outford Dunham sweater. It's made in the USA. It's this nice purple color. We know people that love purple, as I have said multiple times on this channel, really love purple. And it's a cool tone purple, which is why it's kind of washing me out. But it has these beautiful little teal roses and the gray floral. I just really like it. Like I said, this, unfortunately, I am a light spring, which kind of sucks because most of the colors that I like to wear are not in my color palette. So that's why this is making me look really pale. But this is now for sale. It's all fixed, and I do love the fact that I am growing my sewing and mending knowledge to be able to save beautiful vintage pieces like this from getting thrown away, because mending knowledge has not been passed down throughout our generations. As fast fashion has gone on the rise, people have kind of just become accustomed to this throwaway economy, so this is great. Another sweater. I picked up this a while ago and just never got around to listing it. This is a vintage from the 60s. The brand is Deans of Scotland. Hopefully you guys can see that. So this is 100% Shetland wool. It doesn't have any issues with it. I thought maybe I had not listed it because there was a button missing, but no, I have no idea why I did not list this at all. But if you can actually find the Fair Isle vintage Dean of Scotland sweaters, Fair Isle again would have a pattern that goes all the way around the collar here. Those actually are worth well over $50, between $50 and $100, but because this is just a plain cardigan, it's not quite worth $50, but it's still worth a bit because this is a vintage cardigan of Shetland wool, made in Scotland from the 60s. So don't know why I didn't list it, but now it's listed. More sweaters, because you know I wanted to go through and get stuff from my death pile that needed to be listed now in hopes that it's sold now. And I actually had two of these vintage Bemidji mills. So this is a 100-year-old woolen mill or sweater mill that doesn't just make sweaters, they also make the vintage like wool Letterman jackets. Those are also worth a lot. Pea coats. They make a lot of outdoors wear, like vintage outdoors wear. If you can find like the wool versions of outdoors wear of this, it can be worth an insane amount of money. I pick these up because I love vintage clothing and I recognize the brand. They're different. I picked them up at the same place. They're different sizes. This is like a modern medium petite, because it has really short sleeves. It has this beautiful detailing down at the bottom that I'm not showing you and doing it justice. It has this nice little scalloped edge on the sleeves and the bottom. The same with this one, but this one fits like a modern extra large. This is red with, again, the beautiful scalloping at the bottom. It's the exact same style of sweater. Maybe it was a mother-daughter type of deal, I don't know. But this fits a modern XL, and this one fits a modern medium petite, and I say that only because the sleeves are short. They have these amazing buttons. They're nice metal filigree buttons. And again, this is a brand to look out for if you like selling vintage. And the reason why I hadn't listed these is because these were insanely pilled. I spent a solid amount of time yesterday sweater shaving, which is fine. I was just listening to an audiobook and zoning out. I will link my sweater shaver down below. It is awesome. And I feel like doing that is just like magic. Like to have it, I'll put the Instagram post up here to show you, but like the difference between the two, between before and after is just insane. So that's why these hadn't been listed yet, is just because they needed a sweater shaver. They're still lightly pilled, but again, they're also like from the mid-century, so that's to be expected. A break from the clothing is we are going to go into books. This actually has already sold. It sold literally the day I listed it, so this has to go out the door, but this is a box set of Anne of Green Gables. And it is the full box set, and I found this at the bins, and the lady at the bin, because this was in a box, charged me the hardcover price for this, so this cost 50 cents. And I already sold it. I didn't sell it for a lot because you could buy like a brand new set on Amazon, I think for like $25, and then of course Amazon Prime shipping is free. So some people don't like shopping on Amazon because they don't want to make billionaires more money, I guess, but so I put this up on eBay and it sold immediately for a reasonable price. I love the show and I loved these books when I was a kid, so I definitely wanted to save these from the trash. Bunch more books. All of these I got from the bins, so a very low buy cost. This is Kidnapped by Robert Louis Stevenson. This is I think this is a first edition Dell paperback. Yep, from 1960. So this is a nice floppy pulp, and I put that up for sale. I picked this up for nostalgia reasons. If you have not seen the 1996 Romeo and Juliet, as a teenager, I watched this and listened to this soundtrack all the time. Actually, I'm upset that I no longer have the soundtrack. So if anybody finds it at a thrift store and would like to send it to me, I would appreciate that because I love this movie as a teen. It's still great. Mercutio, John Leguizamo, amazing. Mercutio was not played by John Leguizamo. I'm just saying they're two different people and two different characters. They were just immaculate performances. I love the movie. I picked up the book. I don't know, it's not really worth a whole lot. I just didn't want to see it get thrown away because of my nostalgia feel. This is a cookbook from a TV show. This is from 1980. I just picked this up. I actually put it in my cart and looked it up because it doesn't have a barcode on it, and saw that these were selling for more than the 25 cents it would cost for me to buy this, so I picked this up. It is Mel's Diner. It's a Kelly TV. I don't know what it is, but I got it. This is a first edition mentor book. This is a philosophy book. Well, I call it philosophy. Bertrand Russell. It's social philosophy. There you go. That's it. I just saw this, and it's really rare to find mentor books at all, or especially in this good of shape. And this is, I believe, also from the 1960s. Yep, this is from 1962. I thought about reading this, but I'm never going to get to it, so I'm just going to sell it. And if it doesn't sell quickly, then maybe one day, you know, 20 years from now, I'll get around to reading it. I'm sure it will sell before then. I also found a second first edition copy of Mary Higgins Clark, I'll Be Seeing You. I say second because I already have one of these listed, so this is the second one I found. Look at that. We can count together. That's amazing. This is from 1980 something. Oh, no, 1993. So I found two of these, both of them at the bins, so they're 50 cents each. So I just changed the quantity to two. That was a wonderful and easy listing. I also found a first edition copy of Sue Grafton's A is for Alibi. Again, Mary Higgins Clark and Sue Grafton are not necessarily individuals that I read, but I am aware of them, and this is the first book in this letter murder mystery series. So this is actually worth picking up. Again, I only paid 50 cents for it, so I thought that was great. So another thing that can be worth picking up is Dungeons and Dragons. Are you gonna focus? You do not want to focus because there you go. It's a glossy cover. That is not a great looking little dude bro. I think that's supposed to be an ogre. This is Monster Geographica Underground. This is for the D20 system. So this is a monster manual that you could run in your paper role-playing game, Dungeons and Dragons. It is just a little, it's a little thing that talks about different bad things that you can put in the game. I saw a $20 price sticker on the back. I'm guessing from some gaming shop that maybe didn't make it through the pandemic. So I picked this up and put it up online, see if I get it. I mean, there's another one listed for $20, which is what that is, got the price on the back for. Who knows? I don't know. I just picked it up because it was 25 cents. And now we're gonna go back into clothes. So this, if you watched my video when I filmed with Matt in California, if you haven't, I will link that up above. But I picked this up and just never got around to listing it. So long that, you know, October was 3 months ago now. It's wild to think that. And I just hadn't listed it, so this technically was in my death pile, so I finally got around to listing it. It measures as a 2XL. I'm guessing it's from the 90s. It is homemade, and it has cowrie shells sewn on it. So I just listed it. There was nothing like it. There were a bunch of like Rasta tank tops, but nothing with cowrie shells attached to it. So I don't know. I don't know. Put it up, we'll see what happens. This is actually from the stuff Ernie and Carolyn gave me. This is a little kitty cat. It's gray with little white cats on it. And so I thought about keeping this because I do need a robe for the boys' house, and I realized very quickly that I am too tall. This is not, normally when you wear a robe, you want it so that way if you had to get out of bed to answer the door, you're at least not naked. My butt hangs out of this because I'm too tall. So this is not made for someone over the height of 5'6", in my personal opinion. I mean, you do you. If you're comfortable with that, again, or if you're wearing like little pajama shorts, that's fine. I'm giving you way too much information to how I sleep. It didn't work for me, so I put it up for sale. I did sell the other one that she had given me that had flamingos on it. I sold that for like $8. Again, this is free. This little area, robe, words are hard. There is no tag in this anymore. That was removed, so I still know what it is because it was the same as the other one that I had sold. It just had a different pattern on it. Something from the big vintage buyout that I just got around to listing is this pink and brown check polyester number. This is from the 70s. This is Country Suburbans. And it has this little pussy bow on the front. No big deal. You know, just a career piece or, you know, typical attire for older ladies at that time. Or career ladies, you know, it's a thing I listed. Cool. This is something from my uncle. My aunt and uncle recently went through the closets and they gifted me a bunch of stuff. And a lot of the rest of this stuff is stuff from him. So all this is free to me, but I hadn't gotten around to listing it yet. And this is a vintage Fieldmaster, which is a Sears brand, if you did not know that. This is very worn, but it has no holes in it and it has no stains in it, which is amazing. It was just very well loved. So it has faded from use and time. It's like that comfy kind of worn in. At least I feel like it's the comfy worn in. But this is a large tall, so that's why I went ahead and pulled this to list it. This next piece is a starter piece. This is a size medium, NHL branded. This is the Washington Capitals. This is a size medium, so I guess it was from my Aunt Diane, because my Uncle Lauren, so my Aunt Diane is like 5 foot, you know, half Japanese lady, and my Uncle Lauren is a 6'5" Scotsman. So my Uncle Lauren is definitely not a medium. I'm guessing that's hers. This was mine, and I decided to list it because I have mentioned before on this channel that I cannot wear stuff around my neck. I will actually break out into a Hy-Vee rash. Actually, when anything touches my neck, you can kind of see a little bit here with the collar. It's due to my dysautonomia. I will have a reaction to tight fitting clothes sometimes as well. So that's why also I stick to normally natural fabrics, because I'm less likely to have a reaction to things touching my skin. And this was the only thing in my closet for the longest time that I could wear that had any kind of a neck. So this is a little bit of a mock neck, and it has a roll down, which is why it was tolerable. This is from Lou & Grey. I've talked about how much I personally like Lou & Grey. It is not a great resale brand. There are some pieces that do well, but it is not a good resale brand. The sell-through rate's not great, and the ASP is not great. But it's a brand I personally like because, as I just mentioned, I have sensory issues and other stuff as well. So this is the only sweater, and every time I wore this sweater, I would get compliments on it. It's just a little knit top. It has a half sleeve. It's not a 3/4 sleeve. It's not a short sleeve. It's like literally right here, like right where my elbow was. I would always get compliments on it whenever I would wear this. And my neck has just decided it's done. It's not dealing with this anymore, so I am unfortunately now selling it. But it's in great shape. There's no pulls, there's no stains. Again, it's something from my personal closet that my body has just decided I don't get to wear anymore, and that kind of sucks. So it is a cotton acrylic blend, so maybe if it was 100% cotton, I wouldn't have the issue, but I just think it's because as I'm getting older, my issues are degenerative, so I will continue to, like, you know, lose feeling in my hands and feet. I will continue to become more and more sensitive to different things. So I will just become one of those like flowy log and look art teacher octogenarians, because that's going to be the only clothes I can wear to keep on my body. It's just going to be just going to look like a big old bag lady. I'll be fine with that. This is something again from my uncle, so it's a free to me. This is a vintage Umbro. So modern Umbro is sold at Target now. So this is a vintage Umbro piece. This is a 2XL, and it is an England kit. If you don't know what kit means, that is, if you want better sales for your soccer gear, I would recommend putting kit in the title. This would be more for like a goalie to wear, long sleeve goalie kit. But yeah, it's a vintage piece. Football, and it's actually pretty valuable. I did not realize that. Like the vintage Umbro Premier League and national team seem to do really well, or be worth quite a bit of money. And then I have 2 pants from my uncle as well, and the only reason I'm selling these, I got a big stack, but they were all Dockers, or most of them were Dockers or St. John's Bay. And I only kept 2 out of all of them because these are vintage, and they had a slightly better sell-through than the other ones. Like if you want to go to the bins and just like sell Dockers for $10, you could totally do that. It's just going to take you forever. But you know, bins buy cost is pretty low. But these are free, so I'm going to go ahead and list these. One is made in Hong Kong and the other one is made in the USA. They're also tall sizes, so one has a 34-inch inseam and one has a 36-inch inseam, which is why I went ahead, in addition to the fact that they're vintage, to go ahead and sell them, because the longer inseams are harder to find. So it's just, they're literally just 2 pleated pairs of Docker slacks. I'm sure you guys know what pants look like. That is all 20 items. This is how much money I have added to my store, and then of course, you know, I've already sold one thing as I'm showing it to you. I'm glad that I'm able to fix this and hopefully move it on to a new home. And this was great. I actually pulled a bunch of stuff to list for this Money Pile Monday, but most everything that I was pulling, the reason I guess I hadn't been listing is because they required mending. So probably the next Money Pile Monday will be just full of things that I have repaired. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this is interesting to you and you were able to work through some of your own death pile or get some listing done. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. 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 Hero, hero. Hero, hero. I wanna be a hero, hero.